Monica is Janice, and
Kreasy is Stacy. All right.
Let me get out the background.
And Sharon is one.
Sharon is moving.
You're the instructor.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
the instructor? You want to be the instructor?
I ain't going over there. Only go that way, then.
I'll just watch.
All right.
I'm going to have to read over your shoulder again.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. And action.
Adele and Janice attend a seminar in a conference room of the hotel. Surprisingly, once they found their seats, Stacy comes in, and so does Sheila. They are sitting there waiting for the instructor to come in. Stacy abruptly turns to Adele and plainly asks a question.
Why are you so interested in creating fake men?
You know, Stacy, here's the thing. I kept noticing how far we have sunk as a society, and was so tired of seeing young girls walking around with that empty look. No expression at all, dead eyes as if there was no brain activity going on in them. No self-esteem, starving for attention any way they can get it. And it seemed like this diminished character was infecting girls at a younger age as time went on. Boys were growing up with no respect for women at all, and love just seemed to be some kind of fantasy of the past. That's when I realized how much trouble we were in, and how defeated people seemed to be, even before the nuclear event. So many people feeling defeated is a recipe for disaster, and I just felt that we really needed to do something drastic to begin recovery in our society. So many women had given up on getting married and having a family. I figured HBs would at least help as a relatively short-term solution for that would lead to repopulate our world, especially after we've experienced such devastation. We've lost so many men due to wars, disease, and jail, and now so many men and women are infertile due to radiation sickness. We needed a new start, something different that would jolt our motivation.
Stacy shakes her head as Adele tries to explain and finally butts in.
Wow. I mean, I'm sorry, but I just can't see resorting to something so unreal. It's against God.
If it was against God, why do we have the knowledge necessary to create these options then? Ultimately, we were created to survive. This is just one avenue toward our continued survival.
To procreate with machines? It's just sick. Come on.
Stacy, you yourself have not had a man in years. One that you feel is good enough to be with you. You always said you wanted a child, and you don't even know if you can have one.
I plan to get that test, and maybe I'll adopt or get a foster child. I ain't having no machine me. Your choice there.
Oh, real nice, Stacy. I guess you're against artificial insemination too. What's the difference?
You know, there is a difference, Anel. You are trying to replace real men with robots. It's just wrong.
The seminar instructor walks in, and Adele, Stacy, and Janice didn't even notice. They are so involved in their conversation, and Janice was so heated that she got up and moved her seat away from Stacy and sat next to Sheila.
Good afternoon, ladies. Welcome to the Stress Relief Seminar. What a wonderful way to begin your spa vacation experience by joining us for some real discussion and good information on how to relax and let go.
The instructor arranges her notes and tablet on the podium. Instructor.
Oh.
Instructor.
Where's the instructor at?
Uh-oh.
That piece got cut off.
Over here.
Oh.
Okay, so let's begin with introductions. I know, that copy's screwed up. Okay, so let's begin with introductions. I'd like each of you to give a brief summary on one thing you'd like to let go of while you're here on vacation that impedes your ability to fully relax.
A few moments of silence passes before Janice finally raises her hand.
Hi, everyone. I'm Janice, and I am so glad to have this opportunity to be on vacation with my friends, especially you and them. You are truly my sister in Christ, and the reason that I ended up living in Hammond, Indiana. It's so wonderful that we all came here for a well-needed and deserved vacation. But there is something I need to get off my chest.
Adele and Stacy both looked at each other in disbelief at the summit because Janice seemed so put together and strong, always being the shoulder that they could cry on. They were stunned that she had been holding on to some burdensome issue, and Annelle began to even feel a little guilty for not ever noticing that Janice could be burdened by something, and she became teary-eyed while Janice was speaking.
I question myself every now and then about my reasons for having an HB in my life instead of trying to get involved in a relationship with a real man. See, it's not like I'm ashamed of it or anything like that, but I just want to try and resolve in my own head what my true motives are for having him, my Ronald. I mean, I am so grateful for the option, and I think that this invention, creation of this kind of option, is extremely useful for many reasons. But in the back of my mind, I keep wondering if I have turned to Ronald because I had been raped by my ex-boyfriend.
Annelle's and Stacy's mouths drop open while Janice continues on without looking at her friend's reaction because she wanted to get it out without getting all emotional.
I met him not long after moving to Hammond's, and we got along fine in the beginning, but I have to admit, I ignored some red flags that actually ended up turning our relationship into something turbulent. I guess I need to examine my role in this dysfunction. Either way, it just didn't work out and we broke up. He came over one day about 4 months after we broke up, and I don't know why I let him in. We had argued over the phone a couple of times when he tried to convince me that we should try to get back together, but I wouldn't go for it. Anyway, I let him in, even though I knew he had a new girlfriend. I mean, he had stopped by once before and had tried to talk me into having sex with him for old time's sake, but I never gave in. But that last time I let him in, he raped me.
Janice dropped her head as her voice seemed to trail off into silence for a moment, as she appeared to try and catch her breath so that she could go on. There were a couple of gasps in the room from other women, but Janice continued to focus on the instructor and did not turn to look at her friends at all, as if she all of a sudden couldn't face them after admitting that.
Please continue, Janice.
I didn't call the police because I felt like it was my fault.
Janice, why didn't you tell me?
Annelle stands up to go hug Janice, but the instructor stops her.
Please, Annelle, sit down and let her finish.
I thought about calling his girlfriend, but I didn't. I told him if he ever came back to my house again, I would call the police though, and I felt like he realized how serious I was because he hasn't come back to my home again. He called and left messages, apologizing and whatnot. I haven't answered any of his calls, and after a couple of months, he stopped calling, and I haven't seen him or heard from him again. And here it is a couple of years later, and I have this HB, Ronald, and I love my Ronald. I feel safe with him.
See?
Awesome. Oh, that was deep.
That was deep, yeah. I don't know what happened to the coffee. Yeah, it gets pretty deep in the agenda.
You wonder if she really does have a Ronald, because she said, I have my Ronald. I'm like, oh, man, so I'll kind of just go, oh. Right. I have my Ronald.
And Ronald is so good that her friends didn't even know he was an android. So in the book, you know, Annelle feels a little betrayed because she's the creator. She had got fired, by the way. So, I mean, you have to like read the story, but she gets fired from the company that's creating the androids that she invented.
Wow.
And, you know, for her friend, she had been convinced to not tell Annelle by someone who's, well, there's a whole like thing going on in the background against her and all. So
Okay, so
you have to read the story.
It's the Hollywood.
We got
I know it. That's what everybody keeps saying.
Yeah. Well, we're trying.
Needs to be a movie. Yep. That's what everybody keeps saying.
Yeah, a series.
Yep. Or a series.
Or a series.
Yep.
That would be awesome.
Yep. I could see it on the screen. Just need to.
That would be,
You gotta get in touch with Oprah.
Yeah, right?
That's
We know
We
that
did.
So,
They're hard to do. We did.
right?
Yeah, we did.